Coming up on 5 Minute News. Trump sues New York Attorney General in attempt to halt civil probe. Pentagon issues new guidance to prevent rise of extremism. And Moderna booster shows good results against omicron. It's Tuesday, December 21. I'm Anthony Davis. Donald Trump sued New York Attorney General Letitia James on Monday, resorting to a familiar but seldom successful strategy as he seeks to end a years-long civil investigation into his business practices that he alleges is purely political. In the lawsuit filed in federal court 2 weeks after James requested that Trump sit for a January 7 deposition, Trump contends the probe into matters including his company's valuation of assets has violated his constitutional rights in a thinly veiled effort to publicly malign Trump and his associates. The lawsuit describes James as having personal disdain for the Republican ex-president and points to her numerous statements she's made about him, including her boast that her office sued his administration 76 times, and tweets during her 2018 campaign that she had her eyes on Trump Tower and that Trump was running out of time. In a statement, James said, "The Trump Organization has continually sought to delay our investigation into its business dealings, and now Donald Trump and his namesake company have filed a lawsuit as an attempted collateral attack on that investigation. To be clear, neither Mr. Trump nor the Trump Organization get to dictate if and where they will answer for their actions. Our investigation will continue undeterred because no one is above the law, not even someone with the name Trump." New York University law professor Stephen Gillers said that while it's clear James gave Trump ammunition to argue that she has a vendetta against him, the lawsuit remains a long shot for Trump, who has lost multiple lawsuits aimed at foiling investigators, including a multi-year U.S. Supreme Court fight that ended in February with the Southern District of New York obtaining his tax records. Warning that extremism in the ranks is increasing, Pentagon officials issued detailed new rules yesterday prohibiting service members from actively engaging in extremist activities. The new guidelines come nearly a year after some current and former service members participated in the riot at the U.S. Capitol, triggering a broad department review. According to the Pentagon, fewer than 100 military members are known to have been involved in substantiated cases of extremist activity in the past year. But they warn that the number may grow given recent spikes in domestic violent extremism, particularly among veterans. Officials said the new policy doesn't largely change what is prohibited, but is more of an effort to make sure troops are clear on what they can and can't do, while still protecting their First Amendment right to free speech. And for the first time, it is far more specific about social media. The new policy lays out in detail the banned activities, which range from advocating terrorism or supporting the overthrow of the government to fundraising or rallying on behalf of an extremist group, or liking or reposting extremist views on social media. The rules also specify that commanders must determine two things in order for someone to be held accountable: that the action was an extremist activity as defined in the rules, and that the service member actively participated in that prohibited activity. The military has long been aware of small numbers of white supremacists and other extremists among the troops, but Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and other leaders launched a broader campaign to root out extremism in the force after it became clear that military veterans and some current service members were present at the January 6 insurrection. Moderna said on Monday that a booster dose of its COVID-19 vaccine should offer protection against the rapidly spreading Omicron variant. Moderna said lab tests showed the half-dose booster shot increased by 37 times the level of so-called neutralizing antibodies able to fight Omicron. And a full-dose booster was even stronger, triggering an 83-fold jump in antibody levels, although with an increase in the usual side effects, the company said. While half-dose shots are being used for most Moderna boosters, a full-dose third shot has been recommended for people with weakened immune systems. Moderna announced the preliminary laboratory data in a press release, and it hasn't yet undergone scientific review. But testing by the US National Institutes of Health, announced last week by Dr. Anthony Fauci, found a similar jump. Pfizer's testing likewise found its COVID-19 vaccine triggered a similarly big jump in omicron-fighting antibodies. The vaccines made by Pfizer and by Moderna, both made with mRNA technology, are used by many countries around the world to fight the coronavirus. Together, the available evidence backs health authorities' increasing pleas for people to get their boosters as soon as they're eligible. Antibody levels predict how well a vaccine may prevent infection with the coronavirus, but they are just one layer of the immune system's defenses. Other research suggests the vaccine still should induce good protection against severe disease if people do experience a breakthrough infection. Both Moderna and Pfizer are developing shots to better match the Omicron variant in case they're needed. You can subscribe to 5-Minute News on YouTube with your preferred podcast app. Ask your smart speaker or enable 5-Minute News as your Amazon Alexa flash briefing skill. Subscribe, rate and review online at 5minute.news. 5-Minute News is an Evergreen Podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.